Psalms 2 speaks directly into the anxieties, confusion, and spiritual hunger of our age. It begins with a question that feels like it could have been written this morning. Why is the world so restless? Why do people seem to be fighting against everything that gives life meaning? The psalm describes nations and cultures pushing back against God, trying to build life on their own terms. The Catechism teaches that this impulse comes from the wound of original sin and the pride that seeks autonomy without truth. We see it today in the desire to define identity without reference to God, in the rejection of moral truth, and in the growing sense that society is drifting without a center. The leaders in the psalm cry out, "Let us break their chains," as if God's law were a burden. Modern culture often echoes this sentiment. People say, "I define my own truth," or "morality is whatever I choose," or "religion limits freedom." Yet the Church teaches that true freedom is the ability to choose the good. When we reject God's moral order, we do not become freer, we become confused, anxious, and divided. Psalms 2 exposes the illusion. Freedom without God becomes a new kind of slavery, one that leaves the heart empty. God's response to the psalm is not panic, it is calm sovereignty. The psalm says God laughs not in mockery, but to show that his plan cannot be overturned. From the early church to the councils to the catechism, the message is consistent. Christ is the eternal Son. His kingship is universal and unshakable, and history is not spiraling out of control. Christ is guiding it. This truth is not meant to frighten us, but to steady us. The world may feel chaotic, but Christ is not overwhelmed. The psalm then reveals the heart of its message. "You are my Son." The New Testament repeatedly applies this verse to Jesus. The Church teaches that this line reveals the eternal sonship of Christ, his divine authority, and his mission to save the nations. Psalms 2 is not about an ancient king, it is about Christ reigning today in the midst of our world's confusion and longing. Then comes a promise, "Ask of me, and I will give you the nation." This reveals Christ's desire for every person, every culture, every nation. The Church teaches that the gospel is meant for all humanity. This is not domination, it is invitation. Christ does not conquer by force, he conquers by truth, mercy, and sacrificial love. In a world fractured by ideology and identity politics, Psalms 2 reminds us that only Christ can unite the human family. The psalm ends with a call to conversion. Serve the Lord with reverence. This is where the message becomes personal. If you feel spiritually lost, Christ is calling you. If you feel overwhelmed by the world, he offers peace. If you feel unworthy, he offers mercy. If you feel unsure about faith, he invites you to take one step toward him. The Catechism teaches that conversion begins with recognizing our need for God and trusting in his mercy. Psalm 2 is not a threat, it is an invitation. The final line is a promise for every restless heart. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. In a world of anxiety, instability, and constant noise, Psalm 2 offers a refuge that cannot be shaken. The Catechism teaches that Christ is our sure and steadfast anchor. and that faith in Him brings true peace. This is not abstract theology, it is a lifeline. Psalm 2 is a mirror held up to our age. You see the nations in turmoil, you see people searching for meaning, you see leaders promising salvation but unable to deliver it. You see hearts restless and wounded, and in this world Christ speaks, "Come to me, take refuge in me, let me guide you into truth and peace." If you are taking your first steps towards the Catholic faith, Psalms 2 invites you to begin simply. Turn your heart towards Christ and ask Him to lead you. He will not reject you. He will not shame you. He will not overwhelm you. He will guide you step by step into the fullness of life.